I think since I've started to make videos on YouTube, two of the most frequently asked questions are, can you do a games room tour? And the other one would actually be more of a demand, would be, show us your games room. And in answer to both of those, I would have to say yes and no. And how so, you may ask? Well, for one thing, I don't actually have a games room of my own. That's all down to where we are currently living. However, in our next place, which we will be moving to shortly, I actually, for the first time ever, will get the opportunity to have my own games room, so I can store and display all my games and gadgets and accessories and tabletops and electronic handhelds, and which is absolutely amazing. But before we even get to that sort of stage where I can actually take you and give you the full games room tour, I figured I'd start right at the very beginning, start at the bottom, at the basic level, and tell you about where everything is at the moment, how I go about moving everything, finding things, just to give you a bit of a general insight how the situation is at the moment. So where we are currently living at the moment, as I said, I've not had the opportunity to unpack all of my games and bits and pieces and everything that I've collected since I was about 6 years old and have stored away over the years, boxed, packaged, purchased off eBay. Everything that I own is all in boxes in the loft, which is more of an Aladdin's cave, I guess you could say, because to a certain extent I've almost, in some ways, I've forgotten what's up there. It's every time I go up there, I have a look through the boxes. I know what I've got in terms of, you know, but sometimes you hunt through the boxes and you sort of think, oh my goodness, yeah, I forgot I had that. And you're always reminded about what those games can tell you. Each game, an item can tell you many different stories, and they always bring back floods of memories, and I love nothing but to go up there and just be with the games and explore and just have a look, and to get up in the loft is almost an adventure in itself. We actually have to store a ladder under the bed, which I have to get to, which is always fun. We don't have a conventional loft hatch either, so as I said, I get the ladder out from under the bed, I have to put that up, then I have to stand on top of it, move the loft hatch over, then bring the other ladder down and then climb up into the loft. And we don't have a light up there either, so I'm always winding one of those torches up, going up there, and unfortunately, because it's, you know, you've got one of these pokey little torches that doesn't really produce enough light. So if I do get the chance, I'll take one of my big floodlights up there, which is definitely essential. So when you first enter my loft, the first things you will notice are the exposed flooring, where there's rubble and dust and cobwebs, and then if you look to the roof you'll see beams and brickwork, and then of course when you turn to the left you'll see dust sheets galore, a massive mound of dust sheets, and under that is my entire video game collection, which isn't great, let's just say. It gets very cold in the winter up there and quite hot in the summer, and I really cannot wait to take everything out of there and just give it a proper home, be able to look through everything and just clean everything up and make sure that everything's in a condition, i.e. like not weather condition, but in a certain temperature where I know it will be, you know, safe and sound, shall I say. Whenever I do get the opportunity to go up in the loft, I always, you know, hunt around in a few boxes, try and tidy up my games, and just in general try and look after everything. Most things are stacked up, which is not ideal either. You've got boxes crushing. I've got games everywhere. I mean, if you said to me, where are all your Super Nintendo games? I honestly couldn't really tell you where they all are. Could tell you where certain ones are in certain boxes, but I've not actually got one large box just full of Super Nintendo games. I've got like shoe boxes of them, and they're all over the place. Over the last 6 years since I've been living here, and of course I've been doing YouTube and making videos, I've pulled games down and I've not put them back where they were before. I've put them in different boxes just so I can quickly get back up into the loft, get the ladder off the landing and just get everything back up there. So everything's sort of stored in, it's all higgledy-piggledy, it's not good. And again, I just can't wait to have everything in individual piles so I can actually see everything and see what I've got. Whenever I go up there and I'm looking for something, it will always be the last box that it will be in. You know, you'll look for all these boxes and why is it always in the last box you look in when you should have looked there in the first place? In terms of what's actually in my collection, if you're actually wanting to know, it's very varied. It's, you know, all ends of the spectrum, if you like. There's magazines, there's promotional bits and pieces, key rings, teddy bears. And at this end, of course, you've got consoles, and in the middle you've got light guns and accessories such as cameras from the Dreamcast. Then there's the tabletops and handhelds from the late 70s to the late 80s. It's an expansive collection. I don't just collect for one thing, I collect for lots of different things. But I'd say the biggest part of my collection is the handhelds and tabletop games. I find them most enjoyable because they're so interesting. They can tell a lot of stories. Their colours and their shapes are always interesting, and the different countries and locations that these were actually produced, and the mystery about some of them. Who were the people that actually made and designed these games? A lot of them we don't even know who they are. Even the internet cannot tell us because in a way no one's actually found out who they were, or it's a time gone by, and which is quite sad really, because I'd really like to find out where these people are now and today and what they're doing and what their feelings and emotions were about when they were designing those games at the time. The video game crash, first video game crash, had a lot to do with their demise and why they disappeared, which is also very sad. But it's one of the biggest areas I love to look into. It's really interesting. I mean, gaming in general is interesting, and it sure is exciting, and I can't wait to see where it takes us in the future. And I hope with this style of filming I can share with you more of my stories and show off more of my gaming collection. And I'm sure within the next video we'll be unboxing the loft and taking everything to our new location. And as my games room progresses, I'll be sure to have my camera ready and aimed and primed so I can show you what kind of stage I'm at. So it'll be kind of progressional, but I really hope you'll come along with the journey with me. Now,
I've got that on tape.